Hello traders and welcome to another session. It is Monday the 20th of October and we're looking at the DAX as usual. Over to the left we've got the MT5 pivot points. On the right we've got Tradovate platform with the order flow for the full DAX contracts as well as the mini DAX. So I use these later in the session to determine whether these points, the pivot points, or a certain other area of target or turnaround might be valid. So using the order flow, that can often determine whether you trust in a level or not. Sometimes it can eliminate the thought of perhaps the market might turn around at a certain point. If you're not seeing it in the order flow, then potentially you can just ignore that level. So what we do have today, it's a bit of a different day today to what we've experienced. So we're actually trading above the triple band. So we've got a triple band setup or layout, I should say. We've got the previous day's high, so forming the extreme gap up here. We've got the previous day's close, which will form a solid target as well. And we may even get down to the previous day's low or low, or the S1 and break out short, which is way down here. So how far away are we? So let's say we get in the bottom, looking at about 370 points. So that's a big move if we do get all the way down there. On the flip side, we could be moving up. Might get a rejection at the R2, but it's not really looking like something that I would be too interested in unless there was super impulsive move. So the market pushes up very quickly outside the Bollinger Bands and then has a strong reaction that we can see on the order flow. And you'll see it play out in the CFD charts as well. Obviously, if we do get all the way up to the R3, I'll likely have a go at that as well. We'll have a look at the other multiple time frames. So we've got the monthly. We've had a really bullish, I guess, period where we hit all-time highs, and now we're following a downward motion back to about the central point. So I guess it's interesting, we're kind of really hovering around that 24,000 big round number overall. We've got 3 minutes till open, so we've got a bit of time to explore what the markets have to offer today. So I'll just see if I can pull this out a little bit more. There we go. Now on the weekly, nothing too much there that I can see, other than we've had 2 down weeks in a row. This might continue lower, who knows. On the daily, we've had a really powerful rejection yesterday, so that I'll cover that during the session once trading starts in the London session. Now we are already open in the DAX, but because of the London session not being there, I've decided to come in, I guess, an hour into the German session, but on time for the London Open. Now, the reason for that is, I guess, the DAX, it hasn't really provided us with anything in that first hour, and we'll see what we had. So yeah, at the 9 o'clock bar, we kind of came down and then went back up. So nothing, we didn't reject off anything, and that's the reason I'm not really... I was watching the open and doing these sessions at the open at the 9 o'clock bar, but I'm just not seeing anything. So often I will take this period off. I won't even trade it, and I'll just wait for the times to then realign so that we do get that market open volatility that I like to see. So look, I will be looking to get short if we see the opportunity. So it's got to be backed by aggressive motion towards this previous day's high. It's also got to be backed by, I guess, the order flow. On the flip side, the risk reward is that we could just have one of those massive buy days where it goes up, say, 500 points. So we've got to really be careful of that kind of action. We've got 1 minute till open, and I'll talk about the previous day's trading or last week once we open and we see the trades play out. But basically I'll be looking to target this previous day's high at the very least. Just going to open up my platforms as well, just so I've got them. There we go. So yeah, I'll be looking to sell. We've got 30 minutes. Look, we may get a big push up which will hopefully provide us with the opportunity to get short. I'll just check the other time frames. Look, there's nothing really on the Bollinger Bands that are going to help. So it's so maybe on the 30 if we get up to the R2, but I'll be just looking probably just to blind sell at this point. So we'll see what the market provides us, but you know, we might even have a day where it sort of just bounces around. So we've got to really watch and be quick when it comes to making a decision. So if we start to see it really fall out very quickly and it looks like it's going to hold, then I'll be getting short. But look, I've hit the button right at the bottom. It's probably going to go all the way up now. But so I am short, but I'm not overly confident about that. I'm going to try and there's a lot of volatility coming in right now. Look at that. On the CFD chart that I've got, the market's just sort of really flickering quite hard. So what we might see shortly is that we'll have a really powerful rejection to the upside, similar to this candle here. So we had a big wick and then it came right back up, followed by bullish movement. So I've got my stops to break even now. So I got short, as I mentioned. Look, I'm in for one lot. I could probably chuck another couple on, but it's just, yeah, it's not. This looks like buying to me, potentially. So some people are saying, "Oh, is this the bottom because it hovered?" It's not. It's sort of pushed lower. So I'm in there with stops to break even, just for one lot. My target is the previous day's high, but I do think we'll probably have a really big wick. So I am concerned. I think that, you know, there's a good chance my stops at break even will get kicked out. It's not, we're about to touch that same area. Look, I've got $50 on the table. I'm just going to close it there. We're getting a bit of what looks to be buying. So we've got limit orders for the buy side here, potentially, followed by some upward movement. Look, it may not hold, but that's just what I'm seeing in the order flow. We're also getting very close to this, the low of this wick as well at the actual German Open. And we are seeing the market now starting to respect that and bounce back up, as I mentioned. So all in all, look, I only put one lot on because I wasn't overly confident. You know, it wasn't one of those trades where I was like, oh, you know, this is 100%, but it just looked and felt like it was going to go that way. It did. Didn't get all the way to target, but we started to see that reaction at the bottom of this week here. So very similar. So the German Open here, and then the London Open. So London holds so much more weight, and that's why I've decided to move the sessions back to 5 o'clock anyway, just because that's when we're seeing all of the volatility. Now for me, that's probably trading complete. I'm probably not going to trade anymore unless I see a really powerful sort of setup. I'll talk you through again a little bit later for the viewers that sort of come a little bit after the session. Excuse me. But what I want to show you is the trading from, see if I can pull it out a little bit further, the trading from Friday. So what I was looking for was a potential rejection off the S3. So where's the 10 o'clock bar? It was the 9 o'clock. It wasn't overly fruitful. I started getting long on the UK actually, because it was outside of the S3, but we tend not to trade the UK on this channel, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but very similar kind of pattern was followed. So we've got the 10 o'clock, I'll see if I can zoom in. We've got the 10 o'clock bar. We opened on the S3. Now it had one of two directions. It was either going to go up and hit the previous day's low and potentially the previous day's close gap up here, but instead it pulled right away. Now when we're outside of these levels, often the market wants to pull it back into position. Sometimes it does fall away, and I did mention that obviously don't hang in there if it's just plummeting and looking like no sign of any strength. So I got in a few times on both the Germany and the FTSE, so the Germany and the UK. and I was in long, took quite a bit of heat. I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have gotten out, but I held. We started to see a bit of, support down lower, and eventually we did come back up into the pivot point area. So I took quite a bit of heat on Friday. I didn't get out where I probably should have, and made a little bit of money, so that was good, but ultimately not the best trading day considering the layout. Had you have waited, for example, on the FTSE, if you just waited for a little while longer and didn't get in straight away, you could have made some pretty decent coin, because the market just had a very good V shape up, almost all the way up to that previous day's low. Not getting the same volatility today. It looks like the traders kind of made their money and focusing on the DAX today, perhaps. So just having a quick scope out. Look, I'm done for the DAX today as far as trading goes, but we opened on this candle here at the 10 o'clock. So DAX is already open back here. This is the opening candle for Germany. So it's an hour before the London session kicks in. London starts trading. This is the opening bar. We pulled right down towards the previous day's high, and I got out. So I got in kind of the break of this low because I saw selling was coming in. The ticker was flicking around quite a bit, so there's a bit of volume there to push it low. What we then saw, so I got in, it moved enough that I could put my stops to break even, and once we got down to similar pricing to the German Open, we saw this activity here on the order flow. Now this is where the magic happens. We've got the bid order for 13 and 14. Oh, something's going on up here. 18 contracts, nothing too major. So we had 13 and 14 contracts on the bid side, indicating it's a bit bigger than the rest of the order flow. It might be some buying coming in, and then followed by some ask orders coming in above those bid orders. So it's almost like the market said, right, here's some limit orders to buy, and then we're going to tap the buy orders, the market orders, straight into the market. And you get this kind of like, it's like a tail and then a head. So it's like the tail on the bid side, followed by the head. It's building up, and then it kind of shoots up and rejects, forming this wick. So when I saw this activity, I got out. I thought, you know what, that's enough. I don't really want to take it all the way back to break even, which it would have. So I'm pretty much where I got in at this very point now. So not the best trading day, but what did I get? About 30 points. So, and I kind of took it fairly light because of the big... so we've got the stops would have been like way up here. So I just kind of got in. I was happy to get out quite quickly because it's not super probable. So that's trading for today. Ideally, what I think might happen is we'll eventually get all the way down to this previous day's low, which is about 300 odd points away. I'm not convinced enough to put a trade on, but that's what I think will happen. So that's what I'm looking for. Obviously, if we break below this structure here, then I think we will probably go down all the way to that close gap at the very least, or the pivot. They're very close together, so a point or two in it. And I think, there's a good chance we may get all the way down here too. But on the flip side, of course, with trading, there's always the opposite direction. It could just power up for 500,000 points. So just be aware of that. You've got to manage your risk accordingly, and look for value when you can see it. Obviously, if there's rejections and continuation that are supported by the order flow, then even better. So as far as today's trading goes, I am done. I'm quite happy with how it's turned out. I think I made like $50, which is fine. And we'll come back again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a more probable setup that I can really kind of get behind. This kind of activity at the open, it's always a bit sort of fast-paced, and you have to really kind of go by gut as well as a bit of a framework of what you're thinking combined, and then you've got to react really quickly. So that's it from me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the session. Best of luck with your trading, and we'll be back again tomorrow. I will be just trading at the 5 o'clock time on the Tradovate time, or the 10 o'clock candle on MT5, simply because that's when more volatility occurs. It was also good today because we actually had the same kind of structure for the opening candle as the Germany open an hour beforehand. So we were able to kind of see what the market was thinking and feeling, and then it was sort of expanded on by the London Open or the London traders. So all in all, quite a good session. Best of luck